Hi music lovers, Cats with Hats here, and I'm standing here with a real global drumming ambassador and the most enthusiastic man I know, Dom Famularo.
Thanks so much, Kat.
Thank you. He went from being a very ambitious young student who studied with Joe Morello, Jim Chapin, among others.
Yeah, great guys.
And became an outstanding, unique player, performer, teacher, clinician, author and co-author of 10 books.
Absolutely. I also wear many hats. That's exactly right, Kat. I also wear many hats, yes.
That's true. And he's an awesome motivational speaker who travels the world and changes lives.
Well, I try to, if anything. I mean, there are so many great musicians that are out there in the world, and sometimes they just need to hear the message to reignite the flame that started them in the music business.
Okay.
It's kind of fun.
That's great. Dom came up with a cycle of self-empowerment, which you can check out among his other books in the info box. Below, I listed everything for you. But today I want to ask Dom about how to be a better teacher, a teacher students love.
Yeah.
I have some sentences I know you use when you meet your students for the first time to check out how serious they are. So let's explore them a little bit.
Absolutely, I'm ready.
Question number 1, why did you choose to play the drums?
As a child, we sometimes are led to our instrument. Sometimes it's not always about choosing the drums, it's about the instrument choosing you. And I believe when I was younger, I had 2 older brothers that played guitar and bass, and it really started out in 1964. There was a TV show, The Beatles played, and when we saw this as kids, we went, wow, we want to play music. And my 2 older brothers grabbed guitar and bass. I said, the drums, this has got to be my instrument. We started playing, we put a band together. And then my younger sister began to sing, so we had a family band that performed as young children. And it was just so exciting, and it was absolutely fun. And I just realized, boy, how great would this be if I had this kind of fun for the rest of my life? That was the beginning.
And if students don't have an answer that's quite special, your answer, like you, what does that tell you?
Well, if a student doesn't understand why they started, sometimes in the beginning stages, they don't know, and sometimes it takes a while before they realize the love for the instrument. And when you begin this relationship, it's a relationship that you're having because you're going to spend a lot of time with the instrument, you're going to practice a lot, you're going to listen to a lot of music, and sometimes those relationships grow into something much bigger than when it started. Sometimes it takes a little bit more time.
Okay. So, question number 2, you ask, do other family members play an instrument?
I ask students this question because it's extremely important to find out if there's music in the family. If their father or their mother played music, or if their brothers or siblings play music. And if they do play music, you can kind of understand how they got involved. But there are many students I have that they say, neither of my parents play music, none of my brothers or sisters play music, but yet they had this feeling to play music. And that always is very interesting. So I know when I'm teaching them, sometimes I have to give them information, and if they're practicing and they're very excited about studying the instrument, and the parents don't understand music, then I need to speak to the parents and get them involved in the fact that your child has a wonderful gift and a wonderful enthusiasm to play music. They need to educate themselves. This is a very, very important part of the process.
Okay. Question number 3, what does music mean to you?
When I say that, what I'm asking is, does the student have a relationship to music? Does the student, I mean, for me, I know what it means for me. I've got, it empowers me, it excites me. So I want to find out what it is about music that does this for the student. And many times, their answer is very simple. It just makes me feel good. And that's good enough to start. And this information gives me more ideas to understand the student.
Can you name 5 drummers that influence you?
Yeah, this is a very important question. If they can name 5 drummers, and I say 5, some of them name 4, some of them name 6. But if you can give me a general idea of what drummers influence you. So if someone says, you know, Tommy Aldridge, Tommy Lee, you know, if they're mentioning, you know, heavy rock or heavy metal drummers, then I get to understand kind of what music they're into. If they say, you know, Steve Gadd, Dave Weckl, Vinnie Colaiuta, I get to understand what they're thinking. If they say Elvin Jones, Tony Williams, and Max Roach, I understand that. And sometimes the drummers say John Bonham, Elvin Jones, Steve Gadd, you know, Tommy Lee. Sometimes they have that lets me know that they listen to a wide variety of music. So that question is extremely important to find out where the student's head and their mind is at when it comes to drumming.
Question number 5. Have you ever taken lessons before?
If a student has studied lessons, I want to know if they took lessons, who their teacher was, what books they went through. So understanding if they studied before is very important. Sometimes they say, yes, I studied with a certain teacher. They tell me the teacher, and sometimes I know that teacher. And if I know the teacher, I can kind of understand where the student is at. See, all these questions are about finding out where that student is at and where I can lead them to.
The next question would be, what last 3 concerts did you attend?
Yeah, this is important because I want to find out how active the student is in hearing live music. This is very, very important because you can watch on YouTube and you can listen to all the musicians that are on there, and that's great. But that's a very small part of being able to feel and hear music. When you're in a room with a band and you've got this band performing and you hear a drummer playing, there's an excitement that you have that you feel that. So if they went to a local club, or if they went to a school concert, or if they went to Madison Square Garden, I want to know where they've been and what they've heard and what they felt from that so I can better understand the student.
Tell me the last 5 albums you bought.
Yes, I mean, this is important to find out what the student's listening to. And it might be the last 5 albums that they purchased, and then I kind of ask them how they purchase it. Do they purchase it old school where it's vinyl? Do they get the CD? Do they download the music? Do they download individual songs as opposed to albums? And I get to see how the student listens and maintains an active part of being involved with music. This is also very important.
The next question is, what kind of school do you go to and how good are you?
Yes, I asked them where they go to school, and because in certain schools they have music programs. So if there's a school with a music program in America, every school has a music program. So I want to find out if the student is involved in the school music program, because that means they might be playing with the orchestra or the concert band or the jazz ensemble. So I want to find out how they are. And then I ask them about how good they feel they are, because I want to know if there are drummers that might be better than them in school. And sometimes they say, yeah, I've got a couple of drummers that I look up to. They're older than me and they're in school and I learn from them. Sometimes they say I'm the only drummer. And sometimes they say, yeah, I'm the head of the percussion section, and I get to really understand where this person's at. This information for me is so exciting because it narrows down exactly how I can help the student.
And the last question is, do your parents support your music?
Yeah, this is a key. One of the challenges we have worldwide that I see is students are involved with playing drums and they're involved with playing music, but many of the parents don't believe that music is a way that you can support yourself. And yes, the music industry is challenging, but when you're doing something that you live your passion for, that you are passionate for, that to me is the path you always must go down. Passion in what you do every day improves the quality of life, creates excitement, and gives you great value in life if you love what you're doing every day. So I asked the students this question, are the parents supportive of what you're doing? Most of them say yes, but there are a few students that say, my parents, they don't like what I'm doing. My next question is, I need to speak with them. Would you please invite your parents to the lesson? And I make the parents come in, and when they come in, I then spend the lesson talking about music. I show them my life, what I've been able to do, and when the parents see what I'm doing, and they see the kind of person I am, it always turns them around to begin to support the student. And then if the parents are supporting the students, we are ready to go.
In a recent interview for The Modern Drummer, you stated that a teacher needs to have a personality disorder.
Absolutely. Kind of like a disorder, right?
It helps him to be aware that he needs to be more than a teacher, but also a cheerleader.
Absolutely.
A guidance counselor, and you named different things.
Absolutely. And this is so important, Kat, because that's what's going to allow that teacher to reach that student better.
So let's go through those personalities.
Let's do it.
The first teaching personality is the teacher.
Is to be a teacher. And to be a teacher means that there's information that I learned that I want to share to the student. It might be a technique, as I speak about techniques from Billy Gladstone, George Lawrence Stone, and Sanford Moeller. These are movement techniques between fingers, wrists, and whipping motion. And those movements must be taught to the student, specific movements in a way that makes them feel better. So teaching is delivering of information. Absolutely.
The second personality is a motivator.
To be a motivator, part of what it means to be a motivator is to map out a plan, a long-term plan that this student is excited about, that they come to the lesson excited, and they are enthusiastic to be able to feel the lesson, to learn the lesson, and really kind of enjoy each of the steps of the lesson. So we have to constantly motivate them to keep them on fire.
Number 3 is a psychologist.
The psychologist is very important because the psychologist allows you to understand how the human mind works. So part of being a psychologist is that I've got to find out where the student's head is at, how they think, how they act, and what they do, so I can better understand how to teach them.
Number 4 is a coach.
Coach is kind of like, think of a sports coach. A sports coach with someone who plays soccer. A sports coach doesn't teach the player how to play the sport, but he shows him how he can get more out of his playing, how to get more results out of your playing. And that's kind of what the coach does, to keep them in the boundaries of playing the art form. Very, very important part of the process.
The next personality is a parent.
Yeah. I believe it's important to be a parent because you got to kind of understand, what the student is going through. And sometimes in just the first 5 minutes of the lesson, I ask them how their day was going. How was it going at school? How are their friends? What are they up to? What are they involved with? I want to kind of get to know them from a parental standpoint so I can guide them also.
One has also to be a cheerleader.
Yes, a cheerleader, at the different sporting events, a cheerleader gets the crowd excited. So when a student first walks in, it's got to be, this is incredible. Come on, we're going to play some more drums today. We're going to have a great lesson. That beginning energy is what cheerleads them to the success of them learning.
And you have to be a good friend.
Being a friend, that student has to feel that they can confide in you and they can share personal things with you. So being a friend with them is very important because I want to build and develop trust. Trust with that student means that whatever I go to share them, they will believe in me. That is very important.
And that also fits to the role of a guidance counselor.
A guidance counselor guides them along the ways of what they're doing. Maybe they are playing in different bands. I might guide them along on how to rehearse with that band better, how to give advice to the band so they can get more out of their rehearsals. A guidance counselor might design ideas for maybe that student wants to go into teaching, maybe that student wants to write a book, so we kind of guide them in their career of what they're doing.
The next personality is quite serious, a military officer.
Absolutely, a military officer. Sometimes I've got to teach the students discipline. Come on, you can make that happen. Let's play this. We might go to a new tempo, and as I push the tempo, they're going, I don't think I can do it. Yes, you can, try it out. And I push them, and many times when I push them and they succeed, they didn't have the strength themselves or the trust in themselves to do that. When I push them like a military officer, and they accept it and they feel it. This is a huge step in personal growth, so they need to be pushed a little.
You also have to be a humorist.
We have to have fun in every lesson. A student has to come into the lesson knowing that it's going to be fun. We're going to learn. I'm going to push you hard. We're going to have great, great fun in this journey and this adventure. And to have fun and to laugh, we laugh in every lesson. We have a great, great time. And when there's laughter, there's relaxation. And relaxation is a very important part of learning. So the more I relax the students, it's kind of like what I do when I'm at my clinics around the world and my master classes. I have fun with the audience and I get them to laugh, because if they're laughing, they're relaxing. If they're relaxing, they listen better.
You gotta be a role model.
This is such an important example to set, that when the student comes in, that they see you as someone they want to be. This is all of my great teachers. These guys were great players, they were great teachers, but I wanted to be like them. The Joe Morellos, the Jim Chapins, my gosh, the Shelley Manns, the Vic Firths. These guys were great guys. They were just great. I mean, my gosh, when I sat down with Papa Joe Jones, every lesson he was dressed up in a shirt and a tie. He dressed up incredible. And every time I'd come to a lesson, I'd see how great he looked. I want to be like that. That was great. That's what a role model is.
And last but definitely not least, you have to be a listener.
This cat is so important to listen. When someone feels that they've been heard. See, some people, when they listen only getting ready to respond and reply. I want to listen to feel what they're saying, so I really understand what they're going through. And if you listen that way, and I try to listen that way to everyone that speaks to me around the world, I want to listen and make them feel like they've been heard and they've been understood. This is an extremely important part of bonding that relationship and developing the feeling that when that student comes into that lesson, you're going to give them information and inspire them and bring them to a higher level. This is truly the adventure of teaching.
Okay, so I'm sure lots of you have been inspired by Dom's secrets of teaching, become a better teacher. Try it out, and also check out Dom's books and try to meet him in person, try to catch him. He's gonna be in a town next to you for sure.
Absolutely,
for sure.
Hopefully I'll be still doing this, yeah.
Yeah. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Kat. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye.